Hey, how we doing, sports bettors? Matt Modi here with OddsJam. Let's bet some DFS plays today. So we're looking at PrizePicks, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight, all of these different DFS companies looking for good DFS entries to make today using OddsJam, using the OddsJam positive EV page, as well as using the OddsJam screen to find these DFS player props. The cool thing about these DFS platforms, which I'm sure those of you watching this are already aware, but you have the same payout regardless of what individual plays you add. Like a two-leg entry for any of these companies, PrizePicks, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight. Two legs, you're always going to double your money, no matter what. So you risk $20, you're going to profit 40 for every single two-leg entry. And then obviously the payouts get higher the more plays you add, all the way up to 5 or 6 legs, which will 20x your money. So you bet $10, you profit 200, something like that. That's how the math works. So the cool thing about it, because of the payouts are the exact same, regardless of what plays you add, you can find some pretty awesome value by looking for player props on these platforms that are basically, to call it as simply as possible, that are likely to hit, that are likely to win, which I know sounds like obvious. Of course, you're trying to find plays that are likely to hit, but that's not necessarily the case with sports betting, right? Let's look at a play here. We see odds range from like minus 135 all the way to minus 160. So these sports books think that this play is likely to hit. So they're making you pay more money to invest in it, is basically the best way to describe it. That's not the case with PrizePicks. You're getting the same odds no matter what. So with sports betting, you're kind of looking for value across the markets, not necessarily bets that are likely to hit. With PrizePicks, literally all you're doing is looking for player props that are likely to hit. And that's exactly what the OddsJam positive EV page as well as the OddsJam screen provide. The EV page is the easiest. It literally just gives plays for you. The OddsJam screen requires a little bit more digging, which I will get into. But I'll talk about it now. So the first play here we're looking at is Dylan Larkin over 2.5 shots on goal. So for a 5-pick entry on PrizePicks, the implied odds per individual leg are minus 119. The reason for that is because if you do a 5-leg parlay at minus 119 odds, those equate to plus 2,000 odds, which basically is the same payout as hitting a 5-leg entry on PrizePicks. So that's why you see these minus 119 odds here. And then what you see just to the right of this under these no vig odds column. So this is called the OddsJam perfect line. And these odds you see here, which in this case are at minus 121, they're pulled from the sharpest sports books in the world, the sports books that consistently do the best job at pricing odds. So like for sports betting specifically, I mentioned there are different odds per play depending on how likely the sports book thinks that play is to hit. Well, some sports books are better at others than pricing odds. So OddsJam tested this, thousands and thousands of betting opportunities to determine who's the sharpest. And then those sharp sports books, their odds are pulled using a weighted average into these odds you see here. So this minus 121 that you see here can be viewed as the true line of what a market should truly be priced at, minus 121.5. The implied odds of a PrizePicks 5-pick entry is minus 119. So there's profit there. And then what you want to do, you want to compare where every other sportsbook prices it just to make sure that there's no issues here and that literally every sportsbook that prices it heavily favors whichever side you are taking. In this case, we're taking Dylan Larkin over 2.5. So let's look at where every sportsbook prices this. We see odds range from minus 130, 11 cents higher than the implied odds, to minus 135, that is 16 cents higher, then all the way up to minus 160, 41 cents higher. And when you're looking at player props, the sharp sports books that you kind of want to look at to compare, Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world, given the heaviest weight, has this at minus 135. BetOnline, another very sharp sports book, also given a ton of weight, also minus 135. And then DraftKings, to a lesser extent, is also pretty sharp. They have this at minus 130, but no book has it in the 20s. Some have it like minus 140, minus 150, minus 160. Some have really good odds for this one. So this Dylan Larkin over 2.5 shots on goal, it's a very good play. The hit rate for this is at about 54.85%. And this win percentage you see here are pulled from the no vig odds. So all odds have a win percentage associated with them. So basically, the sharpest sportsbooks in the world are telling you he is going to go over this shots on goal prop about 54.85% of the time, telling you they think he's going to hit 54.85%. So it's more likely than not that this player prop hits, and we're not paying any extra juice for it. So that's leg number one. Leg number two, this is an NBA play. Fred VanVleet under 4.5 rebounds. So again, implied odds of -119. In this case, the no vig odds are at about -121, just below -121.5, -121.36. So pretty good play there, 2 cents better than the implied odds of PrizePicks. And then let's look across the board. We got a ton of markets to choose from. Pinnacle, -164. BetOnline, -139. DraftKings, -130. And looking across the board, we see them range pretty much from -130 to -142, -143. Pinnacle is decently higher at -164, with all other sportsbooks, as I mentioned, -130s, low -140s. Really good play here. The win percentage for this one is just below at 54.82%, so still more likely than not to hit above a 54% rate. Leg number two. Leg number three, another NHL one, shots on goal. Tyler Toffoli over 2.5 shots on goal. So again, the no vig odds are at -121. Pretty much across the board, we see one book at -129, but in Pinnacle, -136. BetOnline, -135. DraftKings, -130. Pricing it decently above the implied odds of -119, with the win percentage of this one at 54.77%. Still above that 54% number. That's leg number three. Leg number four is Miles Turner under 8.5 rebounds. Implied odds, no vig odds of about -121. Sharp books having it -166, -137, -130. Now this one, we do see a couple books in the -120s at like Bet365. We see -125 win bet, that's Bet Rivers. We see a -121. Still the majority have it in the 30s or low 40s, including the sharp ones. So this is still a good play, even though we have a couple closer to the implied odds of PrizePicks. Leg number four. Leg number five, Brandon Montour under 2.5 shots on goal. So this one's good because pretty much across the board, it's at almost exactly -140 or just below that. Pinnacle -140, BetOnline -139, DraftKings -135, and then we see here -140 and one at -139. Win percentage here of 54.37. That's leg number five. And that's how you use the OddsJam positive EV page. You can filter it specifically for these DFS companies, PrizePicks and Underdog, and then it literally just spits out profitable plays to add. Like I said, the OddsJam screen requires a little bit more digging, but still just as profitable. So the way the OddsJam screen works is you choose a market. In this case, I'm looking at player points, and it pulls up where every sportsbook prices that market at. So the goal of using the OddsJam screen is just compare across all of the different sportsbooks and find outliers. And the outlier that I found here is looking at LeBron. You might have heard of him, LeBron James, to go over 32.5 points at PrizePicks. Literally every other book has it at 33.5, every single one. And these 1 point differences matter a lot over the course of time, in the grand scheme of things. Like, yes, for one individual bet, LeBron scores 34, it won't matter. If he scores 32, it won't matter. But when you're doing this a large volume of times, you'd be shocked at how many times he lands at exactly the point total. And getting that extra point is literally the difference between winning and losing. So this is a really good one. LeBron over 32.5 points. And that rounds out my 6-pick entry for PrizePicks. So if you're tailing this, comment and let me know. Would love to hear it. But that's all I got for you guys. So I do appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.